Have you ever woken up on game day, checked your fantasy lineup, and felt that pit in your stomach when you see your star player is suddenly listed as out, and their game has already kicked off, locking them into your lineup? It is one of the most frustrating scenarios in fantasy football. So, what exactly can you do when your fantasy player is locked and injured? In most fantasy football leagues, once a player's scheduled game has officially begun, they become locked. This means you can no longer move them out of your active lineup or make any changes to that specific roster spot. If that player is also injured and unable to play, you are almost always stuck with 0 points from that position for the current week. However, the key here is most leagues, so always check your specific league's rules. The lock mechanism is a fundamental rule designed to maintain fairness and prevent managers from making unfair lineup adjustments after they gain knowledge from game events that have already started. Player injury information, unfortunately, can sometimes emerge right up to game time or even during pre-game warm-ups, often after the locking period has begun. This rule emphasizes the importance of diligent pre-game planning and staying informed about player statuses as much as possible throughout the week. Your very first step is to immediately re-examine your league's specific settings and rules. While it isn't common, some custom leagues or platforms may offer a very narrow window or a specific rule that allows for an emergency substitution if a player is truly a last-minute scratch and their game has just barely started. This is rare, but confirm it. If such a rule exists, act with extreme speed to make the change before any further deadlines pass. Assuming your player is indeed locked and giving you 0 points for the week, your attention needs to shift to damage control and future weeks. First, closely monitor the official injury reports for your sidelined player. Understand the severity and estimated recovery timeline. Is this a 1-week absence or something more long-term? This crucial information will guide your next moves. Immediately turn your focus to the waiver wire. Research available free agents who could potentially fill in for your injured player in upcoming matchups. Look for players with favorable schedules or increased roles due to other injuries on their team. This unfortunate situation perfectly illustrates the critical importance of robust bench depth. Having reliable backup players who can step into your starting lineup when injuries strike is a cornerstone of successful fantasy football management. It also underscores the value of what we call contingency planning. Always have a mental list, or even a physical one, of potential waiver wire targets for each position, especially during periods of high injury risk or bye weeks. True fantasy experts know that staying a step ahead means not just drafting well, but constantly monitoring player news. This includes checking official injury updates from team sources, following reputable fantasy football journalists on social media, and utilizing reliable injury tracking websites. These insider actions can help you spot early warning signs and pivot your roster before the game locks, saving you from a 0-point week. Setting up notifications for your roster can be a game changer. While having a star player locked and injured is undeniably frustrating and can be a significant setback, it is not the end of your season. By quickly confirming your league's precise rules, focusing on effective waiver wire management for the following weeks, and prioritizing strong bench depth and proactive news monitoring, you can skillfully navigate these challenges. This approach allows you to minimize the weekly impact and keep your team firmly on the path to championship contention.